Every single Black Ops 2 Wonder Weapon on round 50. Let's go. First, we're going to start off with the one that everybody already knows how well it's going to be doing on round 50, the jet gun. This is somehow the best and worst Wonder Weapon of all time. Like, on paper, this should be the greatest Wonder Weapon we have ever gotten. It is infinite damage and infinite ammo. That is crazy. The only drawback is you can only use it for, you know, 10 seconds and then it just fucking explodes and you have to rebuild it. And in BO2, you can only hold one part at a time. So if you're on solo, you're gonna have to grab a part, go put that on the table, come back, grab another part. It's just not even worth it if it breaks. If it breaks, just end your game. if you really want the jet gun that bad. In this clip, I have a mod that lets me have an infinite jet gun, so it just doesn't break, and you can see how much better it is. Granted, there's no cooldown on this one. You know, they would probably still have the cooldown system, but at least it doesn't break. The fact that it breaks is ridiculous. That makes no sense. Like, I get what they're trying to go for because it is kind of overpowered, but just let it be overpowered instead of it just being utterly useless. On round 50, you can see, like, it gets you kills, but it just breaks unless, you know, you have a mod on. And the process to just even get this in the first place is just not even worth it at all. You have to go across the giant map that Transit is and find all the parts just for it to break because you weren't paying attention to the stupid fucking meter. It's not worth it. Don't get it. I made a video where I actually did go and get it for the first time because I'd never done it, never used it. I just always knew it wasn't worth it. And after doing that, I realized, yeah, it is not worth it. I was right. Everybody was right. Up next, we have the Ray Gun Mark II. The standard ray gun gets praised a little too much. I don't think it's ever been good. Even in World at War, when it was the only thing we had, it has a lot of drawbacks. I have had Jug shot at the ground by a mistake, or shot too close when shooting a zombie, and immediately died. With Jug, again, you know, let me remind you, with Jug, I've had that happen in BO1, and you can say go get PhD Flopper. Not all the fucking maps have PhD, so the splash damage on the ray gun makes it not even worth it, but we'll save that for another video. The Mark II, however, removes that splash damage and amplifies pretty much everything else. I mean, the headshot damage on this gun is actually kind of crazy, and I will admit, for the people who do know, Holy Richtofen, if you are watching, I will admit this is the one time where Deadshot actually is helpful. I know. Crazy, that one's getting clipped, you know, he's probably gonna put that on his channel. The Mark II is actually pretty good. I think it's a pretty decent Wonder Weapon. Not too overpowered, not too underpowered. It's a very sound Wonder Weapon. You can see on round 50, like if I headshot them, it immediately kills them. Body shots take 2 bursts, maybe 3 sometimes. I just wish it was a little bit easier to get this weapon for how mid it is. And I'm not saying mid to degrade it, because it is good. But in terms of all the other Wonder Weapons, I mean, if you're, you know, comparing them on damage and how overpowered they are, this one would be considered mid. And just for that, the reason, like, how kind of difficult it is, like the chances of you getting it, especially on all the on Transit and all the other survival maps that are the, you know, the smaller parts of Transit, that's just ridiculous. If you've seen the BO2 pack-a-punching every weapon video, you know what I'm talking about. Up next, we have the Blundergat and the Acid Gat, or the Ventrolic Withering when it's pack-a-punched. Now, these two were actually surprising. I thought the Blundergat would suck on round 50, and the Ventrolic Withering would be, like, amazing. I don't ever really play Mob of the Dead, but it was actually the opposite. The Blundergat was really good on round 50, and the Ventrolic Withering was just kind of bad. It was just making crawlers, not even killing zombies. The only good thing about it is the monkey bomb effect, which you can use in combination with, like, the acid trap. That would really be the only reason to use that. I think just the standard Blundergat is just way better. It was a one-shot on round 50. The only problem you're going to run into is ammo. And I think just, I honestly really don't consider the Blundergat a wonder weapon. It's really just a shotgun, because I mean, it does a lot of damage for a shotgun, but it's like, it's just like a really heavy, hefty, hard-hitting shotgun. It's like the minigun. So I don't know how much I would say it's really a wonder weapon, but if you don't include it, then people are gonna get all fucking pissy. I do like the Ventrolic Withering a lot more. I think it's cooler. I like the green on it, and just the acid. I like acid weapons. I think that's actually a really unique idea that needs to be explored more. But it was not that great. Like, you're better off using a normal weapon. Now the next weapon is the Paralyzer from Buried. This is probably one of the holy grails of wonder weapons, just like the perfect balance of overpowered and underpowered. This is everything the jet gun should have been. You can shoot the zombies, it will slow them down, you know, effectively paralyzing them momentarily. And if you do it long enough, it'll kill them. Even at round 50, this thing was killing pretty quickly. And you can use it to fly around the map. You can use it to do a lot of things. It even works on Arthur. And if you use this in combination with Vulture's Aid, so let's say, you know, you use pretty much all the Paralyzer, now it's got a recharge. You go stand in the Vulture's Aid mist, and while it's recharging, all the zombies are going to ignore you. Now, granted, this thing will only carry you to round 70. After 70, it just won't kill anymore. If your goal is to hit round 70, I mean, there you go. I mean, you get in a nice corner and just sit there and do that. Move on to one of my favorite wonder weapons, the Sliquifier. This thing shoots some questionable liquids out of the gun, out of the barrel of this gun. But if you shoot the zombies, you'll actually see them slipping and like falling and trying to get back up. It's amazing. And it kills them, obviously. You hit them dead on, insta-kill. If they walk into it, it takes a couple seconds to kill them, but they can't even get to you anyways because they're too busy slipping on it. Patch, this thing was a menace. The best wonder weapon ever created, known to man. And then they patched it and made it what it is now. It's still good, but not what it used to be. It makes sense.
What is that? Tell me I'm hearing things like, you look like what you are. Pile of raw sewage.
Now the final wonder weapons on this list are all of these staves from Origins. Now, there is a difference between these and the BO3 versions. The BO3 versions, I think, are worse. I don't think they're as good, but they're not as glitchy. That's the other thing, because in BO2, the staves are kind of glitchy. The Ice and Wind kind of are a little bit dysfunctional when you get to round 12, which doesn't really matter. Most people aren't playing until then anyways. The Fire Staff can crash your game once you start getting into the 70s. That's kind of an issue. Most people aren't going to that, but for the people who do, that is kind of a problem. And then the Lightning Staff is just fucking horrible. There's not a single reason on this planet you would pick that staff. The upgrade process is probably the worst out of all of them. I just think it's really annoying. And you can also like easily soft lock yourself out of it. Fire Staff one's kind of annoying too, and the other, you know, Wind and Ice are fine. I don't have a problem with those. But other than the Lightning Staff, all of these staffs are actually pretty decent on round 50. They were all killing just fine. You saw how fast I killed that Panzer with the Wind Staff, which is probably the worst one to use on him. But yeah, they were all doing just fine. I think the best one probably is Fire on BO2, but you have the problem again of your game crashing. And you know, when you like I said, BO3, they're vastly different. Like Lightning still sucks. Fire is one of the worst. I'd say Ice is probably the best one on there.
It's not looking good.
But yeah, that was all the BO2 wonder weapons on round 50. I'm gonna do one for each of the games. I like making these types of videos. They're fun. Just me getting gameplay and footage and the editing that they take. It's a nice change of pace to what I normally do. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.